guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993. We are here live to not watch Monday Night Raw. Of course, with my occupied plans for the rest of the weekend. Falling out from AEW Full Gear 2021, the final AEW pay-per-view of 2021. We're going to celebrate instead of watching Monday Night Raw, because who gives a crap about that show? We're going to grab ourselves a Dr. Pepper. We're going to call it our little can of whoop ass. We're going to crack it open, treat it as a cold one, and cheers to our new AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page. Now that is some good cowboy shit. Cowboy shit. That's cold, as one of my old teachers used to always say. Except he did that with a Diet Coke. But yes, guys, we are live on this Monday evening. Hopefully not the only time I'm live tonight. But we are live to do my live review of this past Saturday night show, AEW Full Gear 2021. Again, the last installment for pay-per-view for AEW in 2021. And this took place, of course, this past Saturday, November 13th, 2021. Thank God they put these shows back on Saturdays, as they should be for sure. Especially if they're going to be long and late, like most AEW pay-per-views are. Not complaining though, because they're still pretty darn good shows. But this one took place this past Saturday, November 13th, 2021. The 20th, this coming Saturday, November 13th, 2021, at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Was this show able to outdo AEW All Out 2021 from this past September? Was there any surprises? Did Wyndham Rotunda show up, as we were predicting could happen? Did they pull the trigger at the right time for Hangman Adam Page? Did they finally pull the trigger on a Cody Rhodes heel turn? Did any of that happen? Well, I will say most of the things I mentioned did not happen. And I will also say that, as I expected, I did not expect this show to outdo All Out. After having, the debuts of Adam Cole, briandanielson, CM Punk's first match in 7 years happening, all this other stuff that went down at All Out, because they legitimately went all out at All Out. I didn't think this show was going to top it. It did not, but it came close. It did come close, though. This was still a fantastic show. Definitely my second favorite AEW pay-per-view. Well, my second favorite pay-per-view in general for this whole year. I would definitely say, for out of the 4 AEW pay-per-views this year, not including the little specials like Road Rager, Fight for the Fallen, Fyter Fest, all those fancy schmazzy ones that they do. Not including those, from weakest to best, Revolution was my weakest pay-per-view, followed by Double or Nothing, which was an awesome show. This, Full Gear, and All Out. That's the order I go in. But three fantastic shows. Well, 4. What grade did I give Revolution? Let me pull that up for a second. I can't remember what grade I gave Revolution, because I know I gave. Let me pull up the pay-per-views. AEW pay-per-view preview. AEW pay-per-view reviews. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Revolution. I gave that show a B-, which I figured. That got a B- for me. Then we got, let me see here. Then we've got Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing. That got an A. Wow, I can't believe I thought that was just an A-. I know for sure I gave an A+ to All Out. So this, like I said, 3 out of 4 pay-per-views, fantastic. Almost a classic. Well, All Out was a classic to me. One of the best pay-per-views I've ever watched, period. I'm sure most of us have ever watched, period. This show, though, was still fantastic. We had a lot of really good matches. It was a very stacked card. It was definitely hard though, especially with being a 4-hour pay-per-view. It was definitely hard to structure this card. There did come a point where the crowd did get a little, tired and worn out, which I would say probably came from the one match that I would say didn't even need to be on this card. The weakest match, and that was the match involving Cody Rhodes. That was definitely, in my opinion, the weakest match on this card. It was fine, but at the end of the day, it did feel pointless. But it ended, other than the fact we did not get, I'll say this way, we did announce a new signing. It was not Wyndham Rotunda, though. We had no Bray Wyatt showing up at Full Gear, as I thought we may have gotten. Apparently, Wyndham is filming right now, so either he's not coming, or it'll be a while until he comes. But we'll just have to wait and see, and if he ever does come around. But the decision for the main event was exactly what it needed to be. We'll talk about that though when we get there later on. I wouldn't say any of these matches hit match of the year for me, but they definitely were some of the best matches for sure this year. None of them I would consider the match of the year, but it was still, again, just awesome show, and I can't wait to talk about it. Let's check the live chat first. Oh, we've got nobody in the live chat. Rats. I thought people would want an alternative to Raw. Instead, though, we're not. But that's okay. Maybe later on tonight. Who knows? The first match, of course, was the buy-in match. I did not watch it. It was a match with Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. They defeated Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter. And the babyfaces won, as I thought would. But wait, hold on. Yeah, Shida countered Nyla Rose's Beast Spawn with a jackknife pin, gets the victory. For the millionth time, Shida pins Nyla Rose. We've seen that match again, how many times. But, just a buy-in match, does no different, just a little match to warm up the crowd. That is fine. We opened up, though, with a very, very great opener. Two of the young pillars of AEW, Darby Allin and MJF. Fantastic opener this match was. Fantastic indeed. Two of the young stars just going out there and putting on a freaking clinic. Again, the story, we got to be intrigued with this. Darby Allin said that MJF would not break him mentally. And whenever this feud started, I still love that moment. Again, just this little moments that you think are just, you won't remember. I do remember. The moment where MJF realized that Darby Allin was not going to crack mentally. He basically, that just sold me on this feud in general. And again, it was an awesome match. Darby Allin's daredevil maneuvers are just crazy. This man did a crazy suicide dive on MJF. He did a coffin drop on the apron, a coffin drop onto the floor outside of the apron. It was nuts. And then there was, of course, a portion of the match where Wardlow and Shawn Spears of the Pinnacle tried to get involved. But then, of course, Sting came out and fought them all off. But just excellent maneuvers, excellent counters, just excellent technical wrestling altogether. Of course, MJF also seemed to tweak his knee at one point in the match, which Darby worked great psychology on that as well. But then towards the end of the match, after Sting fought off Shawn Spears and Wardlow, MJF comes back in, and he again is trying to, play the mind games with Darby Allin. The games that, when this feud first started, that made me see, oh boy, Darby Allin can play the mind games with MJF. MJF grabs Darby's skateboard, and he goes into the ring, and he rolls it across the mat to Darby, who orders Darby to hit him in the skateboard. And no, he did not start going, hit me in the head, punk! Hit me in the head, punk! Your father's a drunk, punk! Your father's a drunk! It wasn't like that. He was just like, hit me. Trying to get Darby to hit him. But of course, Darby thought better of it though, and then the referee took the skateboard and passed it outside the ring. But as the referee got distracted, MJF pulled out his dynamite diamond ring, and then he just sucker punched Darby with the ring. And as he said he was going to beat Darby with a headlock, he puts him in a side headlock and just lays him down on the mat. He knocks out Darby and pins Darby for the victory. Excellent storytelling. This was the biggest thing that stood out. Again, this was the storytelling course. Like I said, what intrigued me was that Darby Allin, at the beginning of this feud, like I said, basically stuck it to MJF, saying that, it's not going to be easy to break me mentally. And, even though he had to find a way around it, MJF still succeeded. He cheated, of course, yes, but he pulled off the great tactics and defeated Darby. Again, awesome match. Like, Darby, it could have gone either way. Like, this is one of those few matches that I literally had no clue who to pick to win this match. I could have seen it going either way, but MJF winning, to me, that really is, I think it's time we set MJF up for another title match. He could go after the TNT title against Sammy Guevara, or he could do the world title at Revolution against some cowboy shit. We'll talk about that, but I feel like if they're not going to turn Cody Rhodes heel, you might as well have MJF be the one, as of now, as far as I can think of. You never know. But MJF could be the one to dethrone Hangman Adam Page. But let's wait and see. But excellent opener. This is a very great match by these two young upstarts. Again, just excellent stuff. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. The second match on the main show was this tag match with the Lucha Bros taking on FTR. And I was definitely, not saying I wasn't as excited about this match, but I feel like this was one of the matches where it was very obvious that the Lucha Bros were going to retain, which they did, but it was still excellent. I said one thing, of course, that worries me sometimes is I know these two have like completely different styles, high fly versus old school, simple wrestling, no lips, just fists. But I keep forgetting, what I loved about the Revival was their psychology when they were in WWE, and in NXT particularly. But they somehow were able to take the simple philosophies and make it work against any tag team style. And I thought they looked excellent in this match. And same with the Lucha Bros as well. My goodness. My favorite moment of this match by far, was towards the end. I was speechless. So, the Lucha Bros have this thing where they set up for a package pile driver. And I think it was Penta El Zero Miedo holds up, whoever it is. I think it was Dax Harwood for the package pile driver. And Phoenix was going to obviously stop as I get assisted package pile driver. Nope. They didn't do that. They set up for the package pile driver. They had Phoenix jump on top of Dax Harwood's tush. I mean it. He literally jumped on top of Dax Harwood's tush while in position for the package pile driver, like he was jumping on a freaking trampoline, and does a crossbody on Cash Wheeler. I thought that was crazy. Probably one of my favorite spots of the night. It was either that or definitely two spots for sure. Give it three. Three spots from the Falls Count Anywhere match with the Superclick and Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, which I think may have been my favorite match of the night when we get to that one. But that spot, man, that was awesome. I've never seen anything like that. That was freaking awesome. What hurt this match for me a little bit, though, it was still an excellent match. Definitely, up there as one of the better tag team matches of the year. But to me, what kind of just hurt it just a little bit was the weird ending. I think what they were trying to do is they had Cash Wheeler put on one of the green masks that they've seemingly been wearing off and on ever since they became AAA Tag Team Champions. And I guess they were trying to pull this stunt where the referee didn't know who was the legal man. I don't know. To me, it just didn't quite work. It didn't quite work to me. It was just an awkward finish, but the Lucha Bros retained, but another phenomenal match, despite that weird ending. But, like I said, I always just forget how well FTR works with every style of wrestling. Again, they're definitely one of the best tag teams in the world. When you are able, I feel, to adapt to any style, depends on what style you wrestle, you're definitely something special. And that's what I definitely have always seen with FTR. That's why I was a big fan of them when they were the Revival in NXT. That's why I was, of course, bummed as hell and thought that WWE really dropped the ball on them when they came to the main roster. Yes, they were multiple-time tag team champions on the main roster, but what do you remember from them? Their matches? Literally nothing. But an excellent match. And again, that spot with Phoenix jumping on top of Dax Harwood while in the package power driver did that crossbody again, that was still one of my favorite spots of the night, probably was, and may have been, who knows. The next match on this show was the match with Bryan Danielson and Miro for the finals of the number one contenders eliminator tournament for the AEW World Title. Another excellent match. I like the ending also too. So, as I said before, Miro was literally just a replacement in this match for Jon Moxley, because Jon Moxley chose to go into rehab and take care of himself. Miro, I thought, was a very excellent replacement, because it wasn't obvious that Danielson was going to win here. You definitely could have seen it, because they definitely seem to have a lot of stock in Danielson, and of course in Moxley and in Miro too. But I feel like the gimmick that Miro has as this Greek god gimmick and whatnot, with him, his only Achilles heel really is his neck. You could use against him. Is definitely a very well thought out gimmick. And this match was very good, and for a while Miro was no-selling a lot of Bryan's maneuvers, which was nice selling for him for sure. I said, though, in my preview predictions, though, I wasn't sure, though, how Bryan was going to defeat Miro. I thought, the easiest thing to do was him to do a submission and work the neck, since, again, Miro's Achilles heel is the neck. They went a little farther than that. They had Danielson knock out Miro. He hit some type of a DDT, like a hammerlock DDT, off the top rope on Miro, and obviously off of that, since his weakness is his neck and the head, as he keeps saying, he knocked him out. He had to pull out the Achilles heel to knock him out, and Danielson wins, which is nice. But I definitely, again, I love Bryan Danielson, but he's not winning the world title. He's definitely not winning the world title, in my opinion. He's not going to be the one to dethrone Hangman Adam Page. I love the guy to death, but like I said in my pre-predictions, he's basically AEW's Shawn Michaels. He is there to just put on excellent matches. He does not have to have a championship involved, but obviously a title match here and there is not going to hurt for him to put someone over like a Hangman Adam Page. So, he was my pick to win this match, but I'm cool with it. I think Danielson and Hangman Adam Page will be a phenomenal match. I'm going to predict, if they do that Winter is Coming, I'm going to predict that they do that match on that show. That's when I think it'll happen. But we'll see where we go from there. But another excellent match for sure. Alright. It was not my favorite moment of the night for sure. My favorite match, though, of the show, I think had to have been this car crashing hell-wrecking havoc of a falls count anywhere tag match between the superclicks, Adam Cole, baby, you know what's all about that boom, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, taking on a team of Christian Cage and Jurassic Express's Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Amazing match. Again, possibly my match of the night. Some of the spots in this match was absolutely crazy. Well thought out of and creative. The only thing I will knock about this match is I wasn't the biggest fan of the gear worn by the Superclick with that bright neon pink. I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of that. But take away the gear, who cares? No pun intended, this is Full Gear. This is an awesome match. I like the story, how they told, of course. They had this thing where they were setting up a concerto here and there, and Jungle Boy didn't, want to pull the trigger at first on it. And let me just put it this way: they put Jungle Boy, if you want to talk about a babyface get booked to be being put through hell, it was Jungle Boy. He literally, I think, was written out of the match for a few minutes. They literally did a spot where the Superclick pulled out first off, there was also a couple of spots I remember too. Christian Cage did a dive off of a higher elevation in the crowd. Wait, sorry, got that button there. A higher elevation in the crowd, which was nice. And a couple other ones here and there for simple ones. But some of my favorite spots. First off, the spot where they put thumbtacks in Jungle Boy's mouth, and I think they super kicked him in the mouth with those thumbtacks. Oh, chilling, but definitely wounded the underdog of this match. There was a spot also where the Superclick pulled out thumbtack knee pads, and they did a V-trigger, a 3-way V-trigger on Luchasaurus, which was sick. And then, of course, whenever I think Jungle Boy came back out and evened up the odds again, there was a spot towards the end where I think Christian Cage went for a spear, but I think Cole got out of the way and Cage went over the ramp. Luchasaurus gave me Dominic Dijakovic vibes from NXT with him and Keith Lee. At 6'7", this son of a gun did a freaking moonsault off of the ramp into that lower elevation part next to the stage. It was awesome. And then they had one of the Bucks, Matt or Nick, one of the two, brawling with Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy gets him down, and Christian Cage sets up the concerto. And of course, I got these vibes of holy smokes! What if Christian Cage turned his back on Jungle Boy right here? Because Jungle Boy, earlier in the match again, did not want to do the concerto, but then he goes, "Wait a minute, they've put me through enough. Give it to me." He took the chair. And Christian Cage steps out of the way, and I'm thinking, oh boy, is Christian going to turn on him? They actually set up pretty good where he gave me that suspense of will Christian Cage turn on Jungle Boy here? He did not. Jungle Boy hits the concerto, and to my surprise, Cage and Jurassic Express win. A nice rub to Jungle Boy on pay-per-view. They gave him the Casino Battle Royale at Double or Nothing. They also gave him the rub here, which I thought was an excellent move. I was fine with them winning, as long as they didn't pin Adam Cole, which they did not pin Adam Cole. They pinned one of the Young Bucks. Works with me. Awesome match though. Again, some of those spots were just they're just amazing. Like I said, I my favorite spots this match was definitely the thumbtacks, the super kick, the double super kick with the thumbtacks in the mouth of a Jungle Boy. The the knee pads with the thumbtacks with the V trigger to Luchasaurus. The Luchasaurus' shooting star press, and then that finish with Jungle Boy and the Concerto. Again, just an awesome, awesome Falls Count Anywhere match. Just so awesome. Again, I loved it. I think it's undisputedly, no pun intended, my favorite match of the show. I mean, not my favorite moment of the show, which was at the end, but definitely my favorite match of the show. Which was awesome. And hi, Tyler. Tyler's in the live chat. Thank you for joining me live, Tyler. But yeah, here's where I feel the show kind of like cooled off a bit, because you got the first 4 matches were phenomenal. Here's where the show kind of got a little cool for me. This tag match with Cody Rhodes and Pock teaming up against Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. 4 guys that teamed up with each other, thinking, why are they even teaming up with each other? The whole match was basically, obviously the only babyface in this match was Pac. Despite the fact that he's known as the Bastard, he was still the babyface this match. Cody Rhodes was booed out of the building, as usual. And, of course, Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo, even though they've been a strange alliance, still also kind of acted like, they weren't on the same page. And that was a story for both teams this whole match. The match was fine, but then Pac won, which, okay, I'm glad they gave Pac the rub here, but he pinned Andrade. And then, after the match, Cash Wheeler randomly comes out and starts attacking Cody Rhodes, and then they just separate them out, and I was just like, what was the point of that? Like, I'm at the point now, like, the whole idea, like this whole story with Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black, it's just a perfect way to set for Cody Rhodes turning heel. But then they are going in on it, and then they feel like they're backing off again, and they're doing something else teasing to go all in with it, and they're backing off. I'm at the point where, no offense, I'm kind of like, if you're not going to do the turn, move on to something else. Because this stuff with Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes has gone on for long enough. They've had, 3 singles matches now, I think it was? That's the singles matches. And Malachi beat him, and his idea is supposed to be that Malachi Black ruined the Nightmare family. Well, how are they ruined if Arn Anderson's still the manager for Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is still a babyface? So, I don't know. This was, again, I said earlier that, this card was hard to structure like a good order because, again, this is how stacked it was. And definitely, like, this match, and maybe the women's match and the 10-man tag match with the Inner Circle and America's Top Team. Definitely the weakest matches on this show. But one that I definitely think they didn't have to do is this match. Like I said, it just felt pointless. Like, the match was fine, but like I said, this could have been just a regular tag match on Dynamite. This didn't really feel like it was a pay-per-view match to me. And like I said, it just... If you're not going to turn Cody heel, then move on to something different and stop doing Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes, because this is not really doing anything for me anymore, in my opinion. But there was that match, and then we had the women's championship match. Dr. Britt Baker, DND, and Ty Conchi. A good match. Again, definitely had no chance at all of competing with the other matches. Besides, of course, I definitely like this more than Cody, Pac, Andrade, and Malachi. But I think what hurt it again is the fact that this was probably the most predictable match. We knew Britt Baker was going to win. Ty Conchi did good. I would say she really convinced me at times she was going to be able to win this match, but she was able to fight back at times where I didn't think she would be able to fight back at. So it was still a good match. A lot of people, and I still agree, say her recent match with Hikaru Shida is probably her best match so far, which I can agree. But Britt retains. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to set up for if Britt Britt's next opponent for the title is Thunder Rosa. We're still going to wait on that for a little bit. So I'd still like to at least see Britt have a year-long reign. Again, if Hikaru Shida can, which I love Shida, so can Britt Baker. I definitely think she could have a reign like that. But still a good match. Just it hurt again with the tired out crowd, unfortunately. But still a good match. Not gonna knock it. The women did a great job. Oh, then we got this match: CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. Oh man, these two came out and they were ready to fight. This was just a perfect, it was only about 10-15 minutes, but it was a fight. It was a personal bloodbath fight. I mean, there was no weapons involved, but two guys went out there and literally just tried to beat the crap out of each other. The match didn't even start, and Eddie Kingston just, with no care in the world, hit that spinning back fist on Punk, and it was kind of like, oh, you want to go? It's on. And it just, again, the story was told perfectly. Again, obviously, these two are on each other's skin because, Punk and the rest of the throwback crew from ROH, they booked Eddie Kingston, how he is. Some guy who's been through so much, and he's definitely credible at the top of the main event scene, but he just comes up short in the big moments. And like I said in my preview predictions, the fact that they're continuing that right now is still mileage in that. There's Eddie Kingston, I feel like could easily be the next Hangman Adam Page. Being that they're going to build him up and basically have you wanting to see him get that moment, but then they're going to want you to feel like when that moment comes that, okay, he has to get it now and it'll be awesome, or if he doesn't, then it'll kind of be like, okay, what are we doing to this guy? And again, another example of that would be Sami Zayn in NXT. I was fine with Punk getting the win here. He won with a very nice looking GTS. Again, he did get busted open as well throughout the match, but this was just a fight. This wasn't a wrestling match. This was a fight. And like I said, it went through so well. It was amazing. I loved it. And yep, Punk remains undefeated. Will this be the last time these two fight, though? It may not. After the match, Punk did go to shake Eddie's hand, but Eddie wanted nothing to do with it. But again, I really love the story that they're telling with Eddie Kingston for sure. And like I said, I feel like he could be the next Hangman Adam Page. That's just what I personally feel he could definitely be. His promo skills are there. His in-ring work is great. He has the right story to make him, definitely the next, babyface to get that crowning moment. Let's roll with it. And of course, also the crowd was super split with this match. There was even a portion also where they're behind Eddie more than Punk, and that is saying something for sure. But we got that. Then we have this Minneapolis street fight with the Inner Circle taking on America's Top Team. Like I said, this is another match. I mean, it was fine. I mean, the crowd was into it. It was just very predictable also. I definitely would have wanted to see America's Top Team win this if Dan Lambert was in the match. The end result was for Chris Jericho to get his hands on Dan Lambert, and that's what it was. But it was still a good match. My favorite spot would definitely be Sammy Guevara's swanton off the top of the ladder. But then of course things came to a full circle whenever Chris Jericho got his hands on Dan Lambert, and Lambert did I hate to say it, he did a horrible job selling. He basically just looked like he was just, I don't know, he didn't look too comfortable in there in my opinion. But of course, Inner Circle win as you expect. After the match though, they then announced again, we didn't get Wyndham Rotunda, but they announced new signing of Jay Lethal, who a lot of people claim they know him through, I think, either Impact or ROH, who recently closed doors. And he instantly challenged Sammy Guevara to a TNT title match on Dynamite this coming Wednesday. Sammy came out and he accepted. So we're going to see Sammy Guevara and Jay Lethal on Wednesday. We'll see what the guy got. And then, of course, the final match of the show, the AEW World Title match, the match we've been waiting to see for a long time. Hangman Adam Page challenger taking on the AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. Awesome main event. Awesome story told through this match. Like I said, of course, with how they need to continue to build Eddie Kingston. They set up Hangman Adam Page in the right spot with the right moments, with the right, the right way for a crowd to feel for him. Literally, they're behind him, they believe in him, but the story told itself where if Hangman Adam Page didn't do it here, the crowd definitely would have not believed he could have ever gotten there. And they struck at the perfect time. They may not want to strike on Cody Rhodes turning heel, but they striked on the right time with Hangman Adam Page. Just an excellent match, and of course Don Callis tried getting involved here and there. Hangman actually hit a one-winged angel on Kenny Omega. The only thing I think that just missed me calling this a classic, I feel like we should have had, unless they're saving this for a rematch, if they do a rematch, I feel like Hangman Adam Page should have kicked out of the one-winged angel. If they would have done that, definitely a classic and definitely my match of the night. My match of the night I still say would be the Falls Count Anywhere match with the Superclick and Jurassic Express and Christian Cage, but this is still my moment of the show. The interesting turn, though, was this surprised me, and I'm intrigued by this. Towards the end of the match, the Young Bucks came out, and you think they're going to cost Hangman Adam Page the match. Well, Hangman stood on one side. One of the Bucks were standing there. They nodded their head and said, "Take it." And then I think Kenny saw the Buckshot lariat coming and avoided it. So he was set up on the other side. And the other, another Buck, one of the other Jackson brother gives it a nod, basically tells him, "Take it." The story of Hangman and the Young Bucks coming full circle after their long rivalry, they basically gave him the floor and set up Hangman for that Buckshot lariat, and Hangman Adam Page wins the world title. He dethrones the wrestling god Kenny Omega, his one-time tag team partner, his former tag team partners, his former best friends and everything, and the journey to just hits the highest note. This was an awesome moment. Like I said, I feel like, the only thing I wish they would have done was had Hangman kick out of the one-winged angel. I wish they would have done it. But the interesting turn of events with the Young Bucks basically telling Hangman, "Take it." I wonder where they're going to go from here with that. Like, I don't know if that was meant to be some sort of a face turn or something like that, or if this is starting to build. If anything, what this feels like this could do is start setting up the cracks with Kenny Omega and Adam Cole, because I feel like once they have Kyle O'Reilly free from NXT, there's no way he's not going to turn down a chance to come to AEW and for Adam Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly to reunite as a tag team. I don't know if this is starting to plant the seeds for all that, but we'll have to wait and see. But still, the moment of the night still is Hangman winning the world title and Dark Order, of course, coming out to celebrate. Awesome moment. Awesome way to end the show. And like I said, just an awesome show in general. And that's my review for AEW Full Gear 2021, guys. Again, my second favorite show of the year. I was back and forth between an A- and an A. I gave it an A. Definitely an A. If I gave Double or Nothing an A, this deserves an A. Like I said, my least favorite match of the card was definitely the match with Cody, Pock, Malachi, and Andrade. Again, it was what it was, but like I said, it just felt pointless. But the rest of the show, everything was awesome. everybody was great. The women had a good match. The main event was awesome. The number one contenders finals was awesome. The Falls Count Anywhere match was still, I think, my favorite match of the show. But still, nothing beat the moment of Hangman winning that world title, which is awesome. And yep, that's going to do it, guys, for my live review. I want to try to do some live reactions tonight. Those ones I talked about the other week. Yes, I'm going to do... Well, first I'm going to do Edge and Seth inside Hell in a Cell at Crown Jewel. If I still have time, I will do Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki. Probably the only two I'll get to do tonight, but I still got to do also the retro one of John Cena and CM Punk from Money in the Bank 2011. But those will come for sure. But I will try to do those first two I mentioned tonight, after I take a quick little breather and get set up to watch both those matches. But yeah, guys, that does it. I gave the show an A. Awesome show. I loved it. Congrats to Hangman Adam Page. Another sip for you, brother. And that does it, guys. Again, A for Full Gear 2021. What were your thoughts on AEW Full Gear 2021? What was your match of the night? Did you think this was the best show of the year? Do you think it still goes All Out? What are your thoughts, guys? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content to my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirBoy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. See y'all soon for some live reactions. Catch you all later. Peace out, everybody.